everyone, Christine Cusinelli here, and this week we are tackling the topic of revealing and dealing with unconscious gender bias in the workplace. Today I'm sharing with you the third in this series this week, which is about perception bias. We've all seen perception bias. It looks like this. When you start telling somebody that you've just been to see your doctor and they say, "Oh, well, what did he say?" Well, quite a lot of times we find that in the industry of STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and math, we more often than not place men in the positions and the roles within that industry. And women tend to be the exception to the rule. And the best way to do that is to treat unconscious bias as though it is a normal part of human behavior. And it is. We're all brought up in different environments. We have all had different experiences. And so we each come to the table with our own lens of perceptions that we always have to keep in check. If you're the leader in an organization, you can also take a principled stand and be able to promote the awareness of unconscious bias in your workplace. That would look like offering seminars to your staff on the different types of unconscious bias so that people can evaluate for themselves and also feel as though it is a part of the norm and a part of the culture to evaluate the way that we think and the way that we do business on a regular basis. The other thing that you can commit to is creating a process to address unconscious bias and especially unconscious gender bias. We are always hearing that within a workplace, to be able to help other women get to the top requires a mentor or a mentorship program, and even further than that, sponsorship. But I've always found that those two things are really difficult for women to be able to find. Nobody wants to necessarily jump into the role of a mentor because sometimes they worry about time. Sometimes they worry about the commitment that may be involved, or they worry that perhaps they don't have the skills to do so. Any workplace that would take the stand and want to be able to promote a program of mentorship or sponsorship for other women would be taking a step in the right direction to addressing unconscious gender bias and absolutely making a real big difference in terms of the numbers of women who are able to climb up that corporate ladder. And I'm going to double down on that. And I'm going to challenge you to have a look at some of the data that shows that there are huge benefits to offering positions and having women in leadership positions overall. One study shows that the economic benefit to decreasing inequality between men and women in the workplace could benefit Canada's economy by over $150 billion by 2026. And I don't need to tell you that if the gender gap shortened completely, that we would be able to increase that number by some research showing almost 4 times that amount. And here's another fact for you. Women tend to be at the helm in some of the most highest performing companies in Canada. 37% is the number of women who hold the position of authority in our highest performing companies. And lastly for you, those companies who value diversity overall, not just gender equality, those companies tend to outperform their competitors in their various industries anywhere from 15 to 35%, according to the nation's average. Those are just a few reasons for you to be inspired to want to make a difference on unconscious gender bias in your workplace. If you'd like to have help looking at unconscious bias in your workplace, please have a look at my website, consultchristine.com, and I'd be happy to get on a call with you to determine if there are ways that I can help you be able to close that gender gap.